You're muted. Yes, you muted.
Have I been muted this whole time?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like I said, you're muted.
Sometimes you got to ponder your own existence, folks. I'm having a Matthew McConaughey moment right now because basically I was just monologuing my whole life. And I was thinking about a Chrysler. Yeah, that's the closest I'm gonna get. You know what, Robert? Are you ready? I'm not gonna say all that again. I'm not. Are you ready?
I am ready. I'm ready.
God, you think I was working for CBS or something? All right, let's go. Actually, that would be worse. Never mind. Hey, folks, what's up? I don't even know how to come back from that. I'm gonna be honest with you.
So we'll get there.
It was a good one too. It was good, man. It was that would have been like Razzie Award winning. I'm gonna tell you, it would have been so good. Anyway, yeah, so hey folks, welcome to TBA News. This is your comics culture news update episodes because it's Wednesday. You know we love to do that. Presented on the Hungry Bleak channel. I am Antonio Pomares, aka the Hungry Bleak, the hungriest man in the room.
And I am the plucky co-host, Rob the Rider.
Okay, so there's a lot going on. You know what? I'm going to say a little bit of what I said before. There's a lot going on. There's so many things going on right now. No matter which show I'm on or which topic or subject or whatever your particular geekdom is, there's so much going on, and I'm actually loving it because there's variety. There's so many different things between movies and television and comics and novels and gaming and animation and stuff from all over the world too, and I'm really digging it. We've got a nice little plethora of everything for you. So let's go first with one of my favorite, I think actually our favorite directors, and one of my favorite comics. Robert, what?
So to last week, 28 days later, The Bone Temple was released in theaters. And the director of the movie, Nia DaCosta, she's been doing a lot of press. And as a part of that, she did I think it's called an AMA, Ask Me Anything on Reddit, promoting the movie. And the question came up about is there an existing franchise that she wanted to tackle next or direct, and she tossed her hat in the ring for a live action adaptation of Invincible, as seen here. What she said exactly was the comic and cartoon are amazing. I know exactly how I'd want to translate that world and that amazing father-son relationship to screen. I also just love the idea of making something in a superhero world that has some real grit and viscera and sex. So one of the things is the live action adaptation was actually in development before the animated series. Mm-hmm. And I think like Seth Rogen was attached to it as a producer. I think the article actually goes into the history of it. But it's, it looked like it had been optioned by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. And if you're familiar with The Boys, they are producers on that and a number of other movies. But it's been something that, people have wanted to, adapt live action. And I think that Nia DaCosta would be a perfect fit for this because she's directed large-scale films, including The Marvels and 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. So, like, as far as dealing with something of that scope, because if you've read Invincible, that's a huge story. It's a huge, over-the-top, super heroic, knock them out, drag them, whatever, however you say that term. story, it's worth adapting. And you see that with the animated series that there, it's like I think we're on season 3 or 4, and we're not even like halfway through that story, through that arc. So I think that because she has the experience of dealing with huge big budget blockbuster movies like the Marvels and 28 Years Later, the Bone Temple, I think that would be a good fit. The other thing is the gore and the violence. If you've seen Candyman, she's got that on lock. So as far as like dealing with the Invincible is not a horror story per se, but it is excessively violent. So if you've seen Candyman, I think that would be I think she definitely has the violence part kind of on tap. And in addition to that, Invincible, if you've read the series and if you've seen the animated series, the animated on Amazon Prime, DaCosta knows how to handle character and story. And one of the things that I loved about her statement was the relationship between Mark and his father, Omni-Man. And in addition to that, you have a wide variety of characters who have complicated relationships, and the story is epic and just huge and sprawling. And she knows how to find a balance with, and the examples I used here were Hedda and Candyman. And actually, I think 28 Days Later, the Bone Temple is another example of that. So I don't know, for all of these reasons and much more, I would love for her name to be on that list, because there are still plans to do a live action adaptation of Invincible once either parallel to the animated series or once the animated series runs its course. But I love that she's a huge fan of the comic book and the animated series, and she was like, let's go. So I don't know what she has coming up after this 28 Days Later movie or 28 Years Later movie. But I would love to see like her name attached to this in some form or fashion in the future.
Yeah, I think that would be a great. I mean, her work is expansive. I just want to say, hey, thank you very much to JD Rosario of Unstoppable Comics.
Hey,
Phenomenal guy. Thank you so very much, JD. Also has a show here streaming on YouTube as well, because this is a streaming service and we're on streaming service. So don't ever forget that. But thank you very much, JD. Thank you very, very much. She has a varied body of work. And I would love to see it. I think there's like an interview going around where it says that she has done, what is it? 5 movies in the last 8 years, or 8 movies in the last 5 years. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's 5 in the last 8 years. Yeah. They're saying like no other Black director has done that.
And because I know like Hedda kind of crept in there, and that's on Amazon Prime. So yeah, last year, this year, Candyman, and then the Marvels. So those are the 4 that I know about. There might be the 5th one that I'm misremembering, but yeah. I mean, and that's
so
that's
like,
huge.
Yeah, that's dope for her. I love her body of work. I love what she's done. I love the energy that she brings as well to projects. There's something she just has this vibe to her. And I love that she puts that passion into the work, and her work is stellar. So amazing. Like I loved watching that most recent Candyman movie. I absolutely loved her work in it. It was phenomenal. So I'm so for this. Yes, absolutely yes. Not just because of the fact it's Invincible or the fact it's to Nia DaCosta, but the two of them together, because she's a fan too. And I love when a fan who truly gets the work and knows the characters and everything and is able to get to it, and also they're passionate and incredibly talented and skillful. That's a win-win. So yeah, I'm totally for this. We will be checking up on this later, but I would love to see that, or honestly, I'd love to see her do anything with some of the Image stuff, because there's a whole body of work there. Yeah, I mean, there's so much. What if she was to dip her toe into the Spawn universe even too? I'm just saying. There's so much. I'm just so excited. And anything that she's one of those people that when I see her name or I hear her name, I perk up and I want to see what she's going to be working on, because I'm a fan of it. And I love the fact that we're at a point where we know about people creatively and we see the names, what have you, where we'll look for somebody who may not be the actor or the star in the movie. We're looking because of the director.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're looking because of who's doing the screenwrite and everything. Like we're looking at all the aspects of projects now and saying, oh, this could be really interesting with this person, that person, these two people that you would never have thought to put together, and it ends up being gold. I love us having that knowledge now of people and their body work. So that's really cool. I'm excited to see that. And that's a really great combo, truthfully.
Yeah.
So that's a win-win. Another one that's going to become another one that actually started in Image but is now through Ignition Press is The Beauty. And this is going to be on FX. It actually premieres tonight. I didn't realize that it was premiering tonight. I thought it was later in the month. But then I realized that it's like the 21st. And I was like, oh, this is the end of the month. I damn. All right, cool. So The Beauty, this is going to be on on FX. This is through Ryan Murphy. Relax. I know. I
was one of them. I'm sorry. I was, but I kept my face like straight.
I had the same reaction. Relax. Hold on. Let me give you the premise first, please. Okay, so The Beauty is basically about. I'm gonna be blunt with you. The Beauty is basically about an STD that makes you aesthetically pleasing. Like you're like. How do I put this? You're you become Eurocentric attractive qualities. Like you become what the Eurocentric the qualifications are for beauty. Let's say that. Because mine are not the same. I'm gonna be honest with you. Wide nose, kinky hair, full look. Let's be real. I like somebody just ate some cornbread, some beans, and rice. Let's get on it. So what happens is, but it has this effect of it can be deadly as well. So you can catch the STD, and you become like aesthetically pleasing, but you can die or go crazy. Okay. Is it really? I think this particular topic is very interesting in this day and age of social media, of likes and shares becoming the new currency, of influencers, of OnlyFans, of sex workers, of everything, of just how much we're so focused on the outside and the aesthetics of a thing. This was a comic that was originally run by Image years ago. I think there were 4 or 5 volumes. Recently, it has come back into everything because of the series and because it's been picked up by Ignition Press, which is one of the newest publishers out there. And so it's coming back, and it's actually being re-released, I believe, through Ignition Press as well. Okay. This is very interesting. Ryan Murphy, again, relax, please. I know this might be the project that suits him, aside from the American Horror Story things and the other stuff that he does. Sometimes Ryan can go a little off kilter, a little extra. I understand that, but I think with this story is very interesting. It also includes these 2 FBI agents who are investigating the Beauty, and one of them ends up catching the Beauty. Such a weird thing to say, but they end up catching this STD. The cast, some of them are Ryan Murphy's usual troupe of actors. We have, if that will work. No, okay, there it is. We have Evan Peters, who is a part of this. Anthony Ramos, who I'm glad to see. Loved him as the Hood. Awesome. We have Jeremy Pope. We also have Ashton Kutcher. We have Rebecca Hall and Isabella Rossellini. And Bella Hadid. Bella Hadid, I don't think I'm familiar with her work. Ashton Kutcher, obviously. Yeah. Isabella is, legendary, iconic status. Rebecca Hall as well, a phenomenal actor. Actor, her from a lot of dramas. Evan Peters is part of Murphy's usual troupe of actors. Jeremy Pope, it looks very familiar, but I can't place Jeremy though. And I don't know why, but I know if I just can't think of who. But I'm excited to see this. I'm always excited to see a comic book be adapted into either live action or animated. inform and see how it translates, see what they do with the work, see if they make little changes, little nuances and such like that. I think this is a very interesting topic, as far as an STD that gives you quote unquote the beauty. And are you willing to risk it? You'll have people who are willing to risk it, people who are willing to do what have you to get it. And how was this used by corporations? How was this used by, those one percenters and such? I think it's gonna be I read the first trade and it was very interesting to me. I was like, oh wow, this is crazy. Because some of the people that you saw in the comic were already attractive. And then they got the beauty and it made them kind of, again, quote unquote, flawless.
Yeah.
So that whole thing, interesting. I want to see where this goes as far as the show. It makes me actually want to reread that first volume and then go deeper into the comic as well. But I think this could be one that will open eyes, maybe start some conversations. Maybe we can actually, have some discussions about stuff that don't devolve into BS and whatnot. But yeah, so the beauty actually premieres tonight. Again, I did not realize that it was the 21st because time has no meaning anymore. There we go.
And it looks like I looked into Jeremy Pope, but I've seen him in was Hollywood. It was I think it was Hollywood on Netflix.
And that was another Ryan
Murphy. Oh, yeah. And I think the only other thing is, and he was also in Pose. So I might have seen him in if he was in the first few seasons of Pose, I probably saw him there too.
Oh,
and
yes.
And that's another Ryan Murphy show, which
I will stand by. Pose is great.
Yeah, Pose was there's another discussion for another time about Ryan Murphy, but Pose was one of the ones that he got right as far as he and I guess the other producers and showrunners. It was really, really good show. Really, really good show. And the brother can act. I mean, I remember him from Hollywood specifically, and he was really good in that.
Yeah. So that's one that's there. So you'll be able to find that on FX, but also go to Ignition Press. Excuse me, like I was saying, and check them out as well because they've got a whole thing about. I believe they even have a sale for it going on as well.
Oh, nice.
If you buy them, I think it said it was like, let's see what it says. Yeah. So they've got the pose. What price would you pay for perfection? I love that tagline. I think it's amazing. You'll see they've got the trades here. They've got single issues as well. I love the new cover. I believe some of them might be new covers as well. So I'm absolutely adoring that. Let me see if I saw that it was. Yeah. So the the new FX Hulu series, take 20% off all the beauty on Ignition Press. So go check them out. They're a top. And while you're there, check out Roots of Madness by Stephanie Williams. Don't tell anybody, but tell everybody. Just saying.
That'll be the next FX Hulu series we see.
Yeah, definitely. So that's going to be there. So you can find that there. But the opposite of find something somewhere is nowhere, right? But you can still find this on Stars because, Robert, this series.
Yeah, the Nowhere Man. So I think the last show, last episode, I'd spoken about a preview, for the series before it premiered, and this dropped on the 16th. I think it was like last Friday. Yeah, if I'm doing the math right. And it's a series from South Africa, and I'd say action drama as it says here. And it's traumatized ex-soldier is drawn back into a world of violence when he witnesses a home invasion and has no choice but to intervene. And the cast includes Bonka Koza, which is the actor featured here, and I think his name in the series is Luca, and Lucas, and Naturi Naughton Lewis, who we know from Power fame, and in this she plays Ruby, and that is the short summary of it, and of the story. And as far as how does the series work, or does it not? It works. It works like in a really big way. And one of the things I love is that you are introduced to this character and his particular set of skills in a very hard-hitting way at the beginning of this this episode. It was like I didn't expect for it to open as big as it did. I was like thinking like we're gonna spend some time with the brother, and then he's just gonna start breaking necks and shooting people and all that. It was like no. Spoiler: this dude jumps out of a helicopter into like what I think is like a mound of salt or whatever, leaves a grenade in the helicopter, and then the helicopter just explodes behind him. And then they're like 3 days earlier, and I'm like, wait, what? So it was like a week earlier or something. So they do a time jump, and from there, that's the pace of this show. Lucas is trying to live his best life at a local community center or shelter for children, but it also is a place that provides food and housing and different things for like, the people who are the unhoused of this particular part of I think they're in Johannesburg. And so he spends his time kind of helping out around the center, working for Ruby, who is played by Naturi Naughton Lewis. And the man just wants to be left alone. He's building sculptures, he's helping out, and when they run into money issues, he's actually going out to pick up scrap metal from the trash from the nice part of town, and that's when he sees the home invasion. So from that point on, that's how Lucas is introduced to the conflict of this series. And the biggest thing, the gist of it is that this lady, she's a victim of a home invasion by guys who are sent there by her let's say drug dealing or drug kingpin husband, who is in jail at this time. And from that point on, he becomes her protector. So there's a lot more that happens, but that's the basic gist of it. And I love the action. I love this brother as Lucas. You definitely have we've seen the story before where you have this kind of tortured, ex-military mercenary guy who just wants to be left alone, and they won't leave him alone, or just like circumstances won't allow for that. And he steps up, in a big way. I know that we'll probably get more into his past as far as like, what happened in his past to kind of get him to this point. But I think for me, what especially works is like the setting of South Africa, and also that we have a Black lead in this. And I don't know, there was just something beautiful about the main cast just being nothing but Black folks. Like mainly there was like one, I guess, Afrikaner, like white Afrikaner guy in that. And he's not long for this world. But there's just the action is good. The story is, I think is solid enough for like, an action series like this. And I think that with it being only like 5 or 6 episodes, it's enough where we'll tell this like one and done series. Its story, and I think that actually works in its favor. It's nothing large or grand about it. It's just kind of a central story of him trying to keep this woman alive, while also helping others who are in dire straits. And Antonio and I talked about this in one of our chats. He goes after somebody who needs to be gone after without giving specifics, in one of the most kind of brutal action scenes in the first episode. So with this being the start of the series, I think it's off to a good start. I think, like I said, it's either 5 or 6 episodes, and I hope that we get other seasons for this, because it's something that I think works on Stars. I love that the catchphrase for Stars is like for adults, or something like, not for adults only, but like, we have like, grown up stuff or whatever. But I think this fits perfectly within the Stars library of TV shows. And, I just hope that we get more, but yeah, definitely worth, checking out through the app.
Yeah, this was a phenomenal one for me. I absolutely had a great time with this. I watched this, and I watched something. I think I watched this and a Running Man on Saturday.
Okay.
And has had a great time with it. I know the brother from Heart of the Hunter from Netflix. Once I realized, I was like, damn, again, I was like, damn, I know him from somewhere. I've seen him in something else. And I had to look him up, and I was like, oh yeah, that's the same cat from that, which I really enjoyed. That was kind of a similar kind of film. But this one I really loved. I love the fact of the action, grounded, wasn't anything crazy wild,
Yeah.
and it was like in like close quarters and such like that. It was the home invasion scene was done very well. I really enjoyed it. I love seeing Tasha and others, like she felt like the opposite of Tasha, which I loved as
Yeah.
well. And I'm always a fan of her work because she's just someone who I just feel is just so awesome. So I love seeing her out there doing things, just do as much as she can. I absolutely love it. This was fun. This was dope. Like this is something that I love seeing more and more shows from South Africa and giving that action feel. This Shadow on Netflix,
Yeah.
Queen Sono on Netflix as well.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, they're both one season. But if we get enough people with this one, I think that we can have something more with this. Let's give this like a nice 3-4 season run. Let's have a great show with this. Like, go check it out. It's very interesting, and it's fun. And when you see who he whoops up on with a chain,
Yeah.
you will. Now there is one scene in particular that was a little brutal. That does come with it, as kind of a heartbreaking scene too, because it shows you what the woman that he's protecting
Yeah.
now went through with her drug dealing husband or ex-husband, I think,
Yeah. Yeah.
who's in jail. But you know that he's going to get his recompense. That's not the word. Recompense. His revenge. I don't know, folks. It's late. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Damn it. But yeah, this was a definitely fun. Nowhere Man. The Nowhere Man, excuse me, on the Stars. Episode 1 is up and running, and I suggest you run to go check it out, please, because it was dark. It was dark because some of it's at night, what have you. No, this is dark, Dark Heart. But I had to go deeper with this one because it kind of caught me off guard. So Dark Heart is this comic from Gestalt Comics. But then I started doing a little more diving into this because I was like, oh, this is cool. Dark Heart is basically the start of the Indigiverse, where it's a universe of indigenous superheroes and characters, which you don't see very much of. And it's indigenous as far as Aboriginal people, like Australia. If you know the history of that, you will say, yes, this is something that's very cool and needs to be done. So I was like, wait, let me go check out this comic, see what happens. So this is the start of the Indigiverse, and it goes from there. It becomes you got a lot of mystical, just because of the beliefs, and they talk a lot about the dreaming. You even have a character that's called Sleepwalker. So instead of me just talking about the comic, because I wanted to tell you about the comic, let me tell you about the company. So I found Dark Heart on Global Comics because, like I said, Global Comics will show you a whole bunch of stuff that you will not know is there.
Yeah.
But I said, let me go check out the company itself, and they have a lot of titles. And this is Australia's premier publishing house of comics and graphic novels since 2005. It is now 2026.
Ooh.
So I have been missing out. But this is also, and this is exactly,
Okay, yeah.
That's what I thought. When I said that, I said, wait, the Deep, this is where the company sounded familiar, but I couldn't think of what it was.
Yeah.
The Deep is from there. They have, what is it, 1 or 2 seasons on Netflix?
3. I think it's 3.
It's 3? Oh, I didn't know it was 3. Oh, damn. Then I got to catch up on that.
Yeah.
Which is that. But you have this wealth of comics and stuff like that. And you can see some of their stuff here. You have EXO, you have Dark Heart, you got Sleepwalker, like I was saying. There's a lot here. First Nations, Clever Man, which was a series that was a 2-season series.
Yeah.
Again, that delved into the mystical side, the dreaming, and a character called the Clever Man, who was like their avenger, almost the one who would have power for the Aboriginal characters. And it was set in the future as well. It was set in maybe like 20. Well, I mean, back then was a future. I think it was like 2030, maybe something like that, but like the near future. That was on IFC, but I think you can find it on Prime, perhaps AMC, I think maybe as well, like AMC or AMC Plus. Check that out.
Okay.
But yeah, then they have all ages with the Deep, and then they have more supernatural stuff. So yes, this is, look, I'm glad I went and did a bit of this deep dive and went there, because now I can tell you more about what's happening in other stuff about this company.
Yeah.
I recommend it. Go check it out. There's so much that we don't have a lot of comics that have indigenous, Aboriginal main characters and cast. So
Yeah.
for that, I am all for it. I love that. So I want to dive deeper into this. I just found the comic and I want to talk to you guys about it because I haven't read it yet. But now that I see this, I have a lot of reading to do because I got to catch up, because they were 2025. Damn it, I got a lot to go.
Yeah.
So this is amazing to me. I absolutely love this. I'm in full support of this. Like I said, Gestalt sounded familiar, and then when I saw the Deep, I was like, oh, okay, now it makes sense. Absolutely, which I love. So yes, go check out Gestalt Comics and their Indigiverse, but check out everything they have going on. If you want to just see what they've got going on as well, and you just want to kind of stream it, go to Global Comics and look up Dark Heart, or just look up Gestalt Comics. That's GESTALT Comics, and you will see all the stuff that is on there, which is dope. And I'm happy I stumbled upon this one, truthfully.
Love it.
You know,
Awesome.
AI for the win for once. Yay. Kind of, sort of, maybe a little bit. Yay. Halfway. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's not get carried away, Skynet, because I know you're listening. You know what else people have been listening to? Robert Jeffrey, because they've been wanting to see this show somewhere, and 4400 on Tubi, sir.
Yeah, special shout out to my co-host Antonio for giving me a heads up, because this is one of those shows next to D Space Nine and Sliders that I apparently rant about a lot. As far as loving, yeah, there. It looks like. Give me 1 second. Can you pull? Okay, thanks. So the 4400 is available on Tubi. A while ago, the show was available streaming on Netflix and just disappeared. And this was many moons back. I was happy that I, obsessively bought the series like a few years ago. But to have it on streaming was great, and then to have it not appear anywhere was not so great. So now that it's on Tubi, I think that everybody should watch it. One of the things that I did want to mention, because we're a comics chat podcast. I mean, we talk about a lot of stuff, but with this specifically, I wanted to kind of give some I guess points about why I feel comic book fans should watch the 4400. As a quick summary, the show is about 4,400 people who are abducted, and they are brought back to Earth back in, I think the series ran and started in 2004. And as it says on here, they're forced to reacquaint themselves with the world while some grapple with new abilities. So one of the things I always describe the series as a mix of X-Men meets X-Files. And it had the misfortune. I mean, it ran for 4 seasons, so that's actually a really good run, especially considering nowadays. But it ran around the same time, or premiered around the same time as Heroes. And Heroes was another series that dealt with everyday, real world people, gaining abilities, and trying to find their place in the world, and there were larger stories that were told. But the 4400 ran on USA for, like I said, 4 years, and it didn't get as much play, I feel, as Heroes, because Heroes was it was a primetime show, that Save the Cheerleader became a really big thing, and it was just a huge series. This one is kind of this kind of hidden gem. I always suggest people go back and check out, because of the stories that they were telling, and also because of it's not even a twist, but like the unique way that basically the explanation of where these people were taken. The other thing is that the people that are abducted from around the world were taken over decades. So going back as far as, I think, the 1930s and the 1940s. So you have this vibe of like out of time, these, out of, feeling out of place, feeling out of time. But a couple of things I think that would appeal to comic book fans specifically is, as was mentioned, the characters develop abilities without digging too much into how they get those abilities. Some of the abilities that we find that people have are telekinesis, telepathy, precognition, life force manipulation, electricity control, and alternate reality projection. So for people who love, I always say this, comic books ish, you got your super abilities. Now they're not necessarily, well, you do get some really good fights, I think sometimes, but it is, I feel that it kind of falls into the vein of something like Invincible, a realistic take on using those abilities and how it affects these people's lives. The other thing is that the 4400 eventually become this ostracized a group of individuals because of their otherness. People see, they thought these people were dead. So, coming back in this one big burst of light and trying to ingratiate and basically get back to their normal lives, what is normal. And then some of them start having abilities. It gives this otherness vibe, which you find in books like X-Men, or with, I think in DC Comics, they've often done like the metas, being the others. So that's another aspect I think would appeal to comic book fans who might want to watch the series. The other thing that I love is the long form storytelling. So 4400 came out, I think, during that time where, everything post The Sopranos, became more serialized versus episodic. I think that this series does a really good job of balancing both of those, so we have a larger story that's being told, but each episode, at least in the first season, focuses on each few of these members of the 4400 being investigated for whatever's happening for that particular week. But I think because we have, like I said, ultimately 4 years of the series, they were laying the framework and the seeds of stories that would be not answered, but basically tackled, in later seasons. So if you're a fan of the long form storytelling in comic books, and once again, another series that we mentioned, Invincible, I think the 4400 is perfect for a comic book fan. It's just, for those are the three reasons that kind of jumped out at me as far as, immediately speaking, why people might be interested in checking this out on Tubi. But also it's just a good series. And I think in the day and age where we've become accustomed to TV being like this place for great storytelling, there are a lot of examples of shows that we can bring up. I think the 4400 was at the forefront of that, especially when it came to sci-fi, science fiction television. But also it missed just by a year or so the push or the influx of super powered stories, whether it was outright just telling comic book stories or just like telling stories about people with these abilities, which have become very popular nowadays. I think this series would have hit very well, and actually apparently somebody else did, because they tried to relaunch it on the CW in 2021, and the show only got one season, but I think that if they ever decided to do another relaunch, I think that people would definitely hop on. But yeah, it's definitely, it's one of my favorite sci-fi shows of all time. But I do think that comic book fans would love it, love checking this out, and check out the one season of the one on the CW. I think that one is a bit more, what I love more about that one is that it's more social. We have more of the social commentary for modern day. I don't know if the storytelling was like executed as well, but I also don't think the show got a chance to actually, get its legs up under it. But definitely check this out on Tubi, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, this is one I remember watching on USA. I think it was the fact of it did get overshadowed by Heroes. I think it was also the fact that it was on USA.
Yeah.
USA was big, but not as big as it is now. And NBC was, but network. So I think that has something to do with it too, unfortunately. But the fact that it was around for that period for, like you said, 4 seasons.
Yeah, it was. Looks like 4 seasons. Yeah.
Yeah, that it got 4 seasons. was actually good then. Like now, it would have been like a legacy show. Jeez. But
Yeah.
I mean, the fact they got that then is awesome, and the fact it's on Tubi, which is again, it's a free streaming platform that you can go on. You don't even have to have an account. You can just go in and just start watching stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and nobody's going to tell you to not do it. It's awesome. So give that one a shot. It is something different, and you will find a young, fresh-faced, well, I mean not fresh-faced, but an actor known as Mahershala Ali
Yeah.
is on there. Which when I realized who that was, and I was thinking back, I was like, oh wow, that's cool. So you get to see some actors that you know now that you may not have known then, or you just see them in this role, and it's a pretty cool show, honestly. So please check that out on Tubi. That is the 4400. So last one we're going to talk about is Godfell. This is from Vault Comics. So y'all know I love comics that have to deal with gods and pantheons and such like that, and when the gods become like real, or something like we only find them when they're dead. Like that's an incredible comic out there that I'll probably be talking about in a few months or so. But this one's pretty cool. This one I found again on Global Comics. This is basically, it's the story of a god actually dies and falls to the ground of Earth and causes obviously this huge giant, falls to the earth, and everyone sees the giant, and it becomes this place to go and have a pilgrimage to. You have all types of people, monks, just people who are looking for answers in life, I suppose, anything, or just ones that, or tourists, or just want to see it. But the story kind of follows this warrior, and she has done battles all over the world. Well, first I want to say again, this is from Godfell. Excuse me. This is from Vault Comics. This is the writer is Christopher Sabella. Artist is Ben Hennessy. Colorist is Triona Farrell. Love that first name. God. Letterer is Jim Campbell. So we follow this warrior, and in the beginning we actually see the god fall to the ground, and how it causes all these repercussions across the world, and all these people want to go and see this god that has fallen and died. But then we go to this warrior who has known nothing but battle for the longest time, fighting for her side, and all the bloody battles, and she is fierce, as you can see, with an axe, any weapon does not matter, and she's always taking her rage out on the battlefield. But she's at the end, because the war is said to be at the end, and she wants to go home to her family, to her loved ones. She's somewhat tired of this life, and all she's been for this time is just this warrior, cold, unrelenting, just brutal, and she wants it to be quiet, but she kind of doesn't know what to do at a certain point when it's quiet like this. So she's given news that, well, the whole army is given news that, oh, the war is not done, we have to go back out there. Just like any of the leaders, they always need a war because it makes them money, and that's how leaders are when it comes to wars. There's a lot that can be said about that one, honestly. I don't pick these comics because these reasons, I promise. Well, it's just that comics are an amazing tool to tell stories about how society and cultures are. Mm-hmm. So she gets the news and she becomes very angry, but it's a different kind of anger in her. It's a very cold, very quiet anger in her that's stronger than the usual rage that she feels on the battlefield. So one night she decides, you know what, I'm not doing this. I'm going to leave. So she gets her stuff and she goes. The funniest thing is there are two of these guards who are trying to stop her, and they're like, who are you? Put your hands up. And she goes, I'm going to hurt someone tonight. It doesn't have to be you. The next scene is her riding away. The next scene is at the bottom here. The next scene is, let me see if I can actually zoom in on it. The next scene is her riding away, and one of the guards leans over and just starts throwing up because he's terrified. But yeah, it's something different from her. It's like this fury in her that's not there. So she goes and she's traveling. She comes up upon this other traveler who actually helps her when this group of marauders are about to kill her while she's in camp. Says, look, I'm going to go do this pilgrimage to the god that's fallen. And it ends up being that Nanzi, I believe is our warrior's name. She ends up becoming a bodyguard, a protector of these monks and her new companion as they go into the god for this pilgrimage for them to see what's going on, because they want her help to protect them, because you don't know what you're going to find inside of the god.
Yeah.
I absolutely had fun with that because I've been wanting more crime like kind of drama stories and more sword and sorcerer, or axe and sorcerer, I guess in this case, stories. And the fact that you're giving me one that the protagonist is a black woman, who, with scars and this fury and this rage, is still absolutely stunning. I love the fact that it's not some demure, um, like 90-pound woman. Like, this is a woman of muscle, of mass, of strength, and of this solemn thing. You normally would see a male warrior being solemn and quiet and what have you. I love the fact that we're getting this woman, this black woman, in that role. I absolutely love that. I automatically thought of One Me from Sinners. I
Yeah.
just breathtakingly, just absolutely breathtaking woman. And that's who I started hearing when I was reading her
Yeah.
lines, was her. I love the fact that it's obviously a world that we don't know. Gods are falling. What is going to be inside of the god? We don't know. I just love the whole aspect of it. The colors are big, bold, and bright. The way they convey the different times of day.
Yeah.
I love the characters. I love when you have fantasy and you can just make whatever the hell you want, because then I believe people who do fantasy and who are making up everything on the way as far as what works as far as magic in this world, what have you, I believe are very attuned, are very keyed in on details. That's very important, because you have to, because you're making all this shit up. You can't forget something that a rule you made on page 1 on page 50. So you're very detailed with that. It was brutal in the fight scenes because it felt that you needed it, and you could feel her rage as she swung an axe. It wasn't a sword; it's an axe. I feel with the axe you have to have more rage because it's strength. It's a smaller blade, and you're going through something. You've got to really give it. And
Gotta have heft. Yep.
yeah, it's a lot of heft. And I feel like at a certain point, over the time of this war, of these battles, she became this strength, this bruiser, these muscles. I believe they developed over the time of this, which I loved as well. I was absolutely floored. Vault Comics is one. I'll actually go to their page real quick. Vault Comics is one that has one of my favorite comics as well, which is called Barbaric. They have Bleed Them Dry, which is a great ninja vampire story. That's very odd.
Okay. I love it.
It is. Look, I loved it so much that I bought a t-shirt. That's how you know I dig your stuff, is when I buy a t-shirt. And it's awesome. Yeah, so this is one I definitely recommend. Go check it out. It's one volume, maybe five issues, I want to say. Yeah, 5 issues. So yeah, go check out Vault Comics, Godfell. It's an older one. It's from maybe 2 or 3 years ago. But it's Zanzi. Sorry, Zanzi. Zanzi is just a character that I would love to see more of. So I'm gonna finish the series and just have a ball with it. But yeah, I'm definitely digging this Godfell out of Vault Comics. Go check it out.
Love it.
Love it. So that's that, folks. Look, we've given you a lot of stuff from all over. We gave you some South African stuff. We gave you some stuff from here. We gave you some stuff from Australia. That's what we do. We give you a nice potpourri, nice little smorgasbord of stuff from all over the place, because there's so much going on everywhere.
Charcuterie board, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The shark board. I'm not going to try and say the word because I messed up the word earlier. I messed up that word earlier. I ain't trying again. Done. Y'all saw it was muted in the beginning of the show. Done. Not trying anything extra. But no, there's so much else going on out there, and we love bringing it to you, honestly. Oh, shout out Stephanie Williams has Wonder Woman 29 out today. The cover on that is absolutely breathtaking. Oh my god. I tried to order it and I didn't see it online from my favorite shop, so I'm going to try a little bit later on so I can order it from there. Nice. But it looks, absolutely for it. I'm not sure how many issues she's going to be on. But I know this is a pivotal look. See, this is a very important part. And I'm not trying to get, this is a very like important part of the story and of the series itself. And I mean, Stephanie Williams is just banging out there, just knocking these comics out. So congratulations to you. And I'm glad to see it. And I would love to see more from her as well to come out of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So on that note, folks, you have a very good evening. Enjoy the rest. I am Antonio Pomars, aka the Hungry Bleak, hungriest man in the room.
I am Rob, the writer, slanging these words.
And there you go. And folks, Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Hungry Bleak Show will be here. Then next week, next Wednesday, we will be here speaking about Avengers Doomsday and all of the not trailers but clues apparently that we've been told. They're not trailers, they're clues. Don't know what that means, but it's going to be myself, it's going to be Robert, it's going to be Jabba. We're going to be talking about this, and that'll be our special little episode for that. In lieu of that one, I got right. In lieu of our Geek Culture Upfronts episodes, we're going to be talking about that because I feel February is going to be a very full month, and you're going to see us just about every damn week. All right.
Yeah.
So on that note, folks, enjoy your evening. Be safe. Drink your water. Do I have to say it? I'm tired of saying this. Can this guy just get out of office yet? As always, fuck Trump and fuck ICE. I'm tired of saying it at this point. I really am. Can he just leave? Go to Fort Lauderdale or wherever the hell you want.
Yeah.
All right.
Just leave.
I'm just done. All right, folks. We'll see you later. Have a good one. Bye.